Public.
You sure you don't want to drop it?
They made it the county.
That would be automatic.
It would.
I think when we get
Well, like, as much money as we be saving, if this gets approved in the city.
Yeah, the same.
That's also.
I don't know. Are we back on?
Yes, we're back.
Okay, we're back from executive session. No action taken.
After discussing some legal matters with their counsel, I would like to make a motion that reference the Dunbar annexation, that we instruct our council to write a letter to the city commissioners asking them to review some of the options we feel might be able to address the issue.
I'll second that.
Okay. Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Betsy, you can proceed.
Thank you, sir.
Guess we're just waiting on Tammy right now.
You want Jackie to sing us the song while we wait?
I would love
He's
that.
just mad because I took his usual spot, so I'm trying to throw me under the bus,
As long as you're not second.
Not me, okay. No one wants that.
So if you're offering, just make it a duet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's everybody's fun and good?
No one wants to hear that.
I'll play the area.
You do your vice president.
Well, can you follow directions or not?
It's not setting up their works normally.
That is not an excuse.
They need to go south.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, we're all signed.
Yeah.
Dress up and be as obnoxious as you can.
Probably needs to make one more. There's some attraction
He goes, yeah, I might choke my head.
She's making
This is
progress.
Call the guy.
Oh, they did.
In Nebraska. I try to eat dinner with him.
I know one thing, he's gonna make money.
Not a lot, though. No.
I'll give him more time to how much.
I'd go buy some new jars, we can bury some more jars.
He didn't know where to put them all.
No.
Does it have a panic button?
I guess.
I'll look at some more out of the conference room, or just grab one of these.
We'll get those, and we got some in here.
Tammy won't be sitting down, she'll be standing up.
Yeah.
So go ahead and just stand at attention, Sheriff.
She's just getting copies. She'll be right over.
Morning, Nate.
Good morning.
Remind me, today's my next birthday. This is his name. We need the clipboard over here. We can do that, yeah.
Keep it moving, Jackie. We didn't really very much time to get.
Yeah.
I know. I was making those copies real quick. So, some worksheets. All right, Commissioners, I'm back. Tammy Robinson, Finance Director. This is the budget hearing. And so just to start out, we have some background information. On August 11th, 2025, the Geary County Commission approved the 2026 proposed Geary County budget summary. It was published in the local newspaper along with the R&R hearings for Geary County and Fire District, as well as the budget hearings for the Geary County Fire District Number 1, Dorothy Bramlage Library, Sewer 4, and Water 2. They set them for today at 11 a.m. And it requires that the publication of hearing notice goes in the paper 10 days prior to hold the hearing. We met that, and there's also a notice of hearing to exceed revenue neutral rate and budget hearing published in the Junction City Daily Union on August 20th, as well as being sent out by the clerk to the taxpayers that were involved with any that were exceeding the revenue neutral rate. So with that, we do have a revenue neutral rate hearing for the county and a public budget hearing for the county, and the chairman will preside over opening and closing those hearings.
Okay. So at this time, I'd open the public hearing for the R&R, which is revenue neutral rate. As Tammy said, the appropriate notice has been given in accordance with statutory guidelines. So do you want to give any other background, Tammy?
So what we have proposed was to have a mill levy rate of 56.301, and our revenue neutral rate was 52.502. And this is just on the county side, so this is not on the fire district. We're only in the R&R hearing for the county. Those mills equate to $17,755,447. Previous year levy was $16,627,893. So that is an increase of $1,127,554. There are some documents up here if anybody would like to see them. The worksheet that I have pulled up is up here, as well as some budget facts, and also the document that reflects what has made up that $1,127,554. So this is the document that is up here, which reflects the decreases and the increases from 2025 to the proposed 2026 budget. So with this, our general fund departments, there were voluntary and other decreases to the 3 Cs, transfers and appropriations. These were made not only by our department heads, but some of these concerning appropriations were made by the commission. We did have some departments that, due to cuts in federal funds, had to remove positions, and in removing those positions, it may have affected transfer from the general fund into their departments. And so those caused decreases within the fund. And then down here on the factors that increased the general fund mill, we had our estimated revenue sources came in lower from the previous year of 645,706. We had our wage increases, which reflected the step, the COLA, and the 27th pay period. And again, as a reminder, 27th pay period takes place every 11 to 12 years, so this is not something we would expect to happen annually. It is not something that you prepare for in previous years. That's taking taxpayer dollars away from them out of their pockets when they could be using them annually until that pay period is necessary. We had some contracts in some of our departments. Previous budgets had not reflected those accurately, and because they had not been reflected accurately, we had to make updates so that we didn't have a shortage in our budgets going forward. We had a couple of capital needs. One of them was in the district court that they need to replace a server, so that increased their budget. We had some contracts with our insurance. Our insurance told us we could expect a 15% increase right off the bat, so we had to increase our insurance costs, and that's property, vehicles, liability insurance. We have coroner costs and an indigent panel. Coroner costs include transportation. Transportation has increased tremendously over the past 2 years. And again, that's not a cost we can control, nor can we get rid of and eliminate it. We have an indigent panel, and by statute, we're required to take care of people who cannot afford attorney services. And so the county takes that on to have those in place to take care of the people. Those cost dollars, and again, it's not something that we can get rid of. We did go ahead and increase the general services reserve by 100,000. We've been doing 250,000. The commission did cut 150,000 of that to help offset some of these ad valorem needs. And then we had a few small increases in a couple of departments. When the commission reviewed these, they felt they were justified. It equated to $8,375, relatively insignificant in 17 million. But I do not want to downplay every dollar that we spend. That's the taxpayers' dollars, so it is accounted for and it is on this list. And then we did have one appropriation increase, and that was to our extension. And by statute, we're required to fund the extension budget. All other appropriations, I would like to say, have either remained flat or been cut by the commission. And that was to help offset the ad valorem tax needs as well. So when you take the decreases against the increases, it did give us that $1,127,554.
Very good, thank you. At this time, since it is a public hearing, I would ask any public that wants to say something. You'll have 3 minutes, and the county counselor will time you. So whoever wants to go first.
Can you give me a 1 minute, whatever it's called?
Red card.
You know, red card.
It's not one driving yet.
No, I mean, when I get that in a minute.
Let them know he has one that left.
Yes, I can do that.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Geary County. I live at 3308 Frontier Circle in Manhattan. As you know, I have rental property, as my family has for, gosh, many years, probably longer than most people have been alive in this room, a long, long time. Appreciate the opportunity to come to this public hearing on R&R. As I understand it, 2 hearings. The first is R&R, so the subject is R&R, the rate. The second hearing is the budget, okay? But much to my surprise and chagrin, which I guess we shouldn't be surprised when the state legislature is in session, or at least the administrative ones, because evidently this year, according to the notice that we received, unlike last year's notice that we received, this states now that all you can do is comment. You are not obligated under law as commissioners to respond to my objections. Last year you were, so you gotta love that legislature. Now that doesn't mean you won't, I'm just saying that's up to you, but you're not supposed to, you don't have to respond to any objections that are lodged, just comments. Well, I guess my comments need to be brief because of the time limit, but nonetheless, I guess my general question is, what cuts could have been made? You don't have to answer this, I'm just asking it rhetorically. What cuts could have been made to bring the revenue rate, or the mill levy rate back down to last year's? What cuts could have been made? I'm sure she mentioned a few. For example, the COLA you granted, I believe you granted the COLA. Okay, get my entities confused. You granted the COLA, but you chose whatever percentage you chose. That's probably one area. I heard you had no choice when it comes to health insurance, but there were probably other areas that you made difficult choices and already made some cuts because you already went below at least what was published, the 56 point, I can't remember, 0.301 or whatever it is what the new rate is. So I should have emailed Tammy and asked for these ahead of time, so I'll just study them later on. And I just want to give you one thought. I really appreciate the work you do. You don't get a lot of attaboys and attagirls, but it's hard. It's a hard job. I told Riley County that as well, the city commission in Manhattan and Junction, any elected body, it's a difficult job. You can't make everybody happy. Certainly tax cuts are great things, but they also affect services. So there's a real balancing act. As you know, you were hired to make decisions, and they're tough decisions. Here's my last thought. If you live in Geary County and hold own a $250,000 home, your property taxes, at least based on the published rate, not the current rate, are going to cost you $1,650. Don't know if that's a bargain or not. But if you live in Riley County with that same value home, you're only going to pay $1,100. That's a pretty significant difference for two counties. Not that you're competing, but keep it in mind because you're doing the best you can based on the resources you have and you don't have. And by the way, I would vote Tammy as the financial executive for the year, maybe for the decade.
Thank you.
Can I get a applause for that for her?
Thank you.
One
Vice
thing
Chair
I
back.
would like to say on the taxes, those taxes are also spread over a lot more people than they are in Geary County. And that's one of the reasons that the tax is different in the two. And that's not something we can help. There's no way, I'm not even sure we could house that many people. Our county is relatively small. So there's one big difference in what the tax are between the two counties.
Anybody else?
I'll get up and say, since I'm not too shy to say anything. John Moyer, 5496 Clark Street Road. The only thing I have to say, I think most people out there feel the same way, but I don't mean any disrespect to any other agencies, but the most important things to us is having good roads to drive on. And if we call 911, everybody has the assets they need. Sheriff's Department, EMS, rural fire. Everybody we want to make sure they have the assets they need to take care of our emergencies. And those are the two most important things that I look at anyway. So, and you don't even need to time me anymore.
38 seconds.
Next. Anybody else got any comments? Going once, going twice? Okay, if there's no more comments on the R&R, I think we need to take a vote on the R&R, and it'll be by a roll call. And with that, Finance will take the roll.
Okay, so this is a roll call vote of Geary County to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate. And the first one I would ask is Keith Asher, do you vote yes or no vote on exceeding the revenue neutral?
Yes.
Kathy Tremont? Yes. Trish Giordano?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then with that, we have a resolution that would need to be adopted to approve exceeding the revenue neutral rate. And that resolution number is 0908-2025.
So moved on that resolution.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. With that, I will close the revenue neutral rate hearing and move on and open the general budget hearing. And this is for the official budget.
Okay, specifically on the budget, this is more of a general suggestion than anything. And I know that she has worked very hard in the budget and the department heads have done what they could to make it work for this coming year. But one of the things I would ask is continue your efforts for transparency. I looked on the county website this morning and there's no indication on the front page or whatever the first page called on the website that this hearing is being held today, or at least either that or I missed it. I'm suggesting to all taxing entities that somewhere on the very front of their website that they put a couple weeks in advance, even though you get this notice, you can't tell them often enough. You'll do a very good job of notifying people with road closures or bridge closures or bridge replacements and things like that. And I know you want people to come, taxpayers to come to these hearings. And the only way that's going to happen more than just this notice is more notifications through the paper, which I think you do that through the JC Post or other websites. Wouldn't recommend Facebook, but that's up to you. I guess you're on Facebook for Geary County, so I guess that would be an appropriate place. But continue to inform people of that. Also, I would suggest you consider one of the things that Manhattan's doing that I really like this year under their new leadership as a city manager is they did some open houses for where the budget dollars are spent. And they created these big boards and set them on easel that show, okay, here's your tax dollars and here's how it's divided up and things like that. And in fact, they've got them out in the lobby at their place so that people can see them when they come to meetings, or they just come into the building to pay their water bill or whatever the case may be. But continue, during that budget time toward the end of it, I guess you could say, to let people know where their money's being spent. You do a great job of the trifold, if that's what we call it, in terms of the information, which is a great thing, available in the public library and here and maybe other places on the website. But just continue to promote where their money's spent, because that's important. And how much of their money is spent like year over year, that kind of thing. Keep it up.
Thank you. I agree. It should be on there. That's a good idea.
This did get put on, it's on the calendar, the front page calendar on our website. So
On the date.
So it's on the date
Oh,
and
okay.
then the attachment is there.
I knew it was in the agenda.
Which it's also on my finance page, which I carried to that front. So it is there.
It wasn't on the news though. That's the thing at the bottom. Geary County News, it's not here.
Yeah, it's not on there, it's just on the calendar.
Thank you, Gary.
I think if people subscribe to the calendar, that helps, because what it does is it sends them a notice that there's been something added to the calendar. So subscribing would be an important thing maybe for us to get out in the public, subscribe to the calendars.
Sure.
So this is the budget hearing now. The first one was to exceed the revenue neutral rate, and this one is to actually accept the entire budget, not just exceeding the revenue neutral rate in our general ad valorem tax fund. So you can see with that, our budget authority expenditures for the entire county, not including special districts, is $48,998,483. one thing I do want to emphasize is that we do a balanced budget, and a balanced budget means revenue equals expenditures. That does not necessarily mean that we have the intent to spend every dollar in every one of these funds. It does give us the latitude to do that, but it is not necessarily our intent. And with that, one thing that I would like to show is our appropriation list, because we have done cuts on those. And so I do think that it would be good, if there's any discussion that you want to have other than what's already taken place on these. You can see both what they requested in 26 and what we have preliminary approved to this point in time. You can also see what was requested and approved in 25 and what was approved in 22 through 24 as history. One thing to note is there were a few that were moved from the general fund ad valorem tax dollars. 3 of them noting Freedom Fest, the JC Juneteenth, and Main Street. While they're still being funded, they are being funded from the CBB, which does not include ad valorem tax dollars. It does include transient guest tax dollars. We have some that are paid out of economic development, but in noting that they're paid from economic development, it is a transfer that comes from the general fund into the economic development. The reason we do that is so we can track economic development costs separately from the general fund. We have a couple that go through special alcohol. There are, by statute, requirements that they have to meet in order to be approved for that funding. The legal counsel and the commissioners have went through that statute and have determined the 2 that have been approved meet that criteria. We do have one that was requested with the opioid fund dollars, and this is a relatively new program with the recovery court. Our community corrections is overseeing that. Library is an appropriation because it's a special district, but it is still an appropriation that comes from the county's tax dollars that they levy on their behalf. Is there anything that you guys would like to talk about on the appropriation?
No, I just think that, we want to help the community, and things that we do give monies to, are important to the community, but we're not required to do those. We are required to take care of the taxpayers with services, as well as taking care of our, employees. So this is probably the most we've ever cut those appropriations. And because of how much of an increase was, I was fully in support of what we did cut. But, I think in future years, we're gonna have to really look at those as well, because they are costing our taxpayers a lot of money, and we're not the only ones that are having these issues. A lot of other counties, that give appropriations have had to do these cuts. And, people can, they're just gonna have to stop depending on taxpayer money and do a better job of looking for grants and getting donations for those services.
Yeah, and before I forget, I really want to applaud our employees and for departments for the job they did, doing voluntary cuts or keeping flat best they could, so.
I just put this quickly on the screen. There was some information I put together. I'm not really going to go through it unless there's anything specific that the commission would like me to address, but it is good information for the public, the people who have picked up these sheets. If you go through it, you have any questions or concerns or anything you want to discuss, my door is open. I would be happy to meet with you. It does provide you the information. And I think the biggest reason I would like to point out this information is so important is not because we want to show you how bad it could be. What our intent is to show you what the department heads and the commission have done to try to keep your taxes as reasonable as we possibly can and still provide services to our people. So I do know there were some comments out there that people felt like we were just trying to say, so this is how bad it could be and we're supposed to be thankful. And I just want to make sure that they understand that's not our point at all. Our point is to say we have taken steps to make this better. And then there's a lot of accomplishments since 2022. I would like to give a shout out to all the department heads. They worked very hard on all of this. They worked with me. I know I've had a lot of changes that I've came in and made with this being a new position. And I really appreciate all the support that they've given me and the teamwork that they have shown in making this work for all of us. And then there were just some other savings. These were small. A couple of them were small, but just even these things, we're not looking at just big things to change. We're looking everywhere we can, which this is what this point is for these other savings, is to show that we are looking everywhere we can to try to either bring in money in a different form, another source, or else to save dollars for the taxpayers by cutting costs. So that's the point with this page.
Actually, forgot one, we didn't have to use, Popper and Dill anymore.
That's on the accomplishments.
Is it? Okay. But it's also a savings, so.
Because we took off, the ARPA guy,
Oh,
the
okay,
consultant,
yes.
and we took off Potberg, fees. So those were tax savings and accomplishments that we were able to get rid of those costs to the taxpayers. Is there anything else you want me to point out before you determine whether you want to accept the budget?
Will you go back to go up a little bit to where you're showing the actual levy? Yeah, right there. Our taxes are high, there's no doubt about it, we have high taxes. And, I think when you, elect somebody and they're saying that they want to make changes and address the issues that we have. I hate paying taxes just as much as everybody else. I have a mother-in-law who yells at me all the time about her taxes. We did not take this budget lightly. We made some cuts and I just want you to see, because I don't think people realize the revamping that we have done in the county has been substantial. And because we get taxed by other entities, you don't see that specific progress. So when you look up at our actual levy, we were asking $17.5 million in taxes that year. Tammy comes and we revamp the whole entire way that we actually do our budget. We were able to lower that very next year, $1.4 million. We did go up a little bit, 200,000 in 2024, but then we went down again in 2025. So in 2026, yes, we do have a substantial increase, and we've explained why. But I feel that it is a huge accomplishment to show you how well we have done with the monies, that we are only paying in 4 years, $200,000 more than we were in 2022. That's not to brag, it's just to show, because it is very confusing, I feel. And, being able to show that, would we have been able to keep the same, would we have been able to leave that flat and just keep collecting that 17.5 million? There has been a substantial improvement in the way we are doing business. Do we have some way to go? Yes, we do. But I feel that our team has worked extremely hard, and I just wanted to point
that out.
I guess I'd point out too, that this is a long process. This starts in April. And I think this is probably one of the toughest years I've ever dealt with, dealing with the budget. It's not fun at any means. But anyway, with that, open up for public comment. Anyone want to address anything? Okay, if not, I will close the public hearing on the budget itself and ask for roll call vote. Tammy, you want to take that?
So to accept the proposed 2026 budget as is, I would ask for a vote from Keith Asher
Yes.
and from Kathy Trina and Trish Giordano.
Yes.
Okay. And the next thing you have is the revenue neutral rate hearing on the fire district.
You want to give some background before I open, or you want me to open?
Have the document up here. On this, it shows you what the 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26 budget amounts were, both for revenue sources, expenditures. It shows you what the tax rate is. And it also shows you what our proposed mill levy rate is compared to the revenue neutral rate of 4.918. So that exceeds by 2.17 mils, and equating that to dollars, we're over revenue neutral by $143,056. When you look at that and you're looking at a $200,000 appraised valued house, 23,000 assessed, you would have a 49.91% tax increase, not percent, dollar tax increase, excuse me. So when you're looking at 23 mills for the 2026 proposed, it's $163.02. And for what the revenue neutral rate is, that's $113.11, which is what this $49.91 difference is. Originally, we had this at about $89, and commission met with our fire director and proposed a change in their capital equipment from a $285,000 line item to a $175,000 line item, looking at the potential to add those dollars in the following year, which would allow him to get the items on his capital list in a 16-month period instead of a 12-month period, and felt like that was a good compromise. And so because of that, we were able to decrease those mills a little lower than what you see proposed on the documents that went out to the taxpayers. So just do want to point out that it was not a cut to the budget. If you look at his budget in 25, he actually had $433,534 for his expenditures, and in 2026 was $534,529. Largely, that's going to be due to the $175,000 transfer for his capital items.
Okay. With that, I'll open up the public hearing. Any public comments? You sure? Everybody's quiet. We'll see no public comments, and I guess I'll close the public hearing, and we will proceed with a roll call vote on the revenue neutral rate for Fire District 20.
Okay, so this is the roll call vote for the Geary County to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate for the fire district number 1. Keith Asher, yes, no, or no vote.
Yes.
Kathy Tremont,
Yes.
Trish Giordano.
Yes.
Okay, and then I would need a motion to approve resolution 0908-2025-1, which would give us the authority to do so.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution for rural fire district number 1, revenue neutral rate. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Not that I want everybody to run out and run away, but the only thing we have left is the library, the water, and the sewer, and so
We still have to have the budget fire budget.
we did have the budget hearing
We gotta do the budget.
for the fire,
The fire budget.
but if the fire doesn't concern anybody, if you don't want to stick around, you don't have to.
Oh,
That's just my point. If anybody wanted to run away, they could.
Yeah, it's the first one. Thank you for coming. Mostly department.
So that's why I thought if they wanted to go, they could. Okay. So we have that done. And so then you'll move on to your budget hearing.
Okay, so I'll open the public hearing for the budget for fire district number 1.
So this is the notice of hearing to exceed revenue neutral rate and the budget hearing sheet that was published in the paper. It was also published on the calendar of our website. And this information was also mailed out to all the taxpayers within that fire district number 1. It does reflect the expenditures that were being proposed for 26, the ad valorem tax dollars, the proposed tax rate, the revenue neutral rate, and then the estimated valuation for July.
Any public comment?
I would like to, who's over here, I'd like to say. A lot of my, district is in the county, in the fire budget, district. Public safety is extremely important for all of us. Trust me, I'm well aware of how important it is, and to fund those. Prior, we didn't have a capital improvement plan for our whole entire county, and I think that we have done a good job of not only creating a capital improvement plan, but funding it. Our fire budget has went up tremendously, and from 2023 to 2026, it's went up 62%. And only 18% of that was moving it in, the personnel, when we moved the personnel into there. Capital outlay went up 158%. We are way behind on replacing stuff in the fire. I know that there's old stuff there. This capital improvement should have been put into place years ago, so we're not replacing everything at one time to be able to, just raise the taxes because we need it this year. putting a capital improvement plan in place, will help not only get the equipment we need, but also be easier on the taxpayer by not, replacing a bunch of stuff at one time. The $175,000 that we approved, the fire district will be able to get all 4 things that they're wanting in the next 2 years. And so people had asked why we cut the budget. We did not cut anybody's budget. We compromised and we put that in place to be a little bit easier for the taxpayer.
Once again, any public comment?
I just, since I'm not an employee, I'm just a volunteer, but I do think part of our thing is we respond to a lot more calls on I-70 than we used to, semi-fires, big things. We really, and our equipment's old, a lot of it, which we make do with what we got, and we don't get rid of anything till it's on its last leg or past it. But, and these huge grass fires, we never had those 10 or 15 years ago. Do you remember those keys like we have now? Just go miles and miles. So the cost of doing business is crazy. And if you buy new equipment, fire equipment now, I know what the city paid for their engine up there, almost $1 million. And when they bought their ladder truck, it was $1 million. So it'd probably be $1.5 million now or more. So anything that says EMS on it, fire, law enforcement, they jack the prices way up because they know it's gonna get bought.
Yes.
So that's my only comment on that, but things have changed on what we've responded to. I gotta give these guys credit. I mean, our department's miles ahead of what it was 30 years ago when I got on there.
No doubt. And I appreciate you volunteering.
And it wasn't me, it was these guys here.
No, I know, but you were involved in helping,
Right.
make, because they can't fight fires by themselves.
Right,
They need
right.
you guys, and I totally appreciate that.
Yeah,
I think that what we've put in place is gonna be able to fund those
Right.
things and replace those things a lot easier.
and previous commissions did not want to spend any money on equipment.
And I
And that's
agree, and
just-
it just costs you more in the long run
Right,
if you don't
right.
address that.
And I don't want to criticize them either. They're trying to save taxpayer money, but
Yes, that's why that's why I think putting this plan in place is gonna make it easier on both the department as well as the taxpayer.
that's all I had.
Thank you.
Yeah, good point. Anybody else? If not, I will close the, or you want to take a vote before I close?
Yes, so you have the roll call vote for the budget hearing for the fire district number 1. Keith Asher, yes, no vote.
Yes?
Kathy Tremont, yes, and Trish Giordano.
Yes.
Okay, with that, then I'll close the public hearing for fire district number 1 budget for 2026. Moving on, the library, and it does have an R&R, correct? It
Nope.
does not?
Nope, none of the other 3
Oh,
water
because we
district
didn't
or
receive
sewer.
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nope, they're all just.
so I will
budget
open
hearing.
a public hearing for the library fund.
The expenditures for the library fund are the same as the previous year of 120,000. Their levy request is 106,898. The proposed tax rate for that is 1.228. Revenue neutral is 1.265, and so they are under that revenue neutral rate. So this is just for the regular budget hearing.
Any comments? Public? Seeing none, this is also a roll call vote, correct? Okay. I guess we're ready to vote.
Keith Asher on the budget hearing for the library. Do you vote yes, no, or no vote?
Yes?
Kathy Tremont
Yes.
and Trish Giordano.
Yes.
With that, I'll close the public hearing for the work at Ramlet's Public Library. And open up, Water District number 2 public hearing.
Okay, again, this is just for the budget hearing. They did not exceed revenue neutral, so their requests for expenditures are 58,407. The ad valorem tax is 6,695. Proposed tax rate is 7.233, and the revenue neutral rate, excuse me, is 7.234. So basically, it's flat from last year.
Any public comment on the Water District number 2 budget? Seeing none, time to take a vote.
Keith Asher, yes, no, or no vote on the accepting the proposed 2026 Water
Yes.
District budget. Kathy Tremont, yes, and Trish Giordano.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, moving right along. Our final one would be, I'll open up the public hearing for Sewer District number 4.
okay, again, this is just the public hearing, no revenue neutral rate hearing. It stayed within the parameters of the revenue neutral rate. The sewer district is proposing $188,923 for budgeted expenditures. The ad valorem tax requests are $15,450. Proposed estimated tax rate 16.692. Revenue neutral rate 16.693. Also flat.
Any public comment on Sewer District number 4? Seeing none, I guess it's time to take a vote.
Okay, for the public hearing on the sewer district number 4, yes, no, or no vote. Keith Asher,
Yes?
Kathy Tremont,
Yes.
and Trish Giordano.
Yes.
Right, so we've made it through that, and you can close.
I'll close the public hearing for Sewer District number 4.
So we do have one more piece of red tape, and that is on the certificate. So we do have to have a signature on the certificate, the budget certificate from each of the commission. And based on your yeses for all your roll call votes, by consensus, that should be, that should allow you to sign this. However, just one thing, and you may want to go ahead and make a motion to approve and sign the budget certificate as published for $48,998,483 and the special district fund certificate totaling $901,859. And then in addition to those two, I would also ask for you to approve the 2026 Geary County agency appropriation as listed. And I'll pull that up on the screen. As listed here in front of you. And I think it's important that you approve those because some of these entities bring us a document and have you sign that you've approved them specifically. So by approving them in this list, then that's you having done that. And then when they do send those forms, I can just have you sign them. In fact, I have one today for the court. The court's budget is one of them. They're not on the appropriation, but they do have documents to sign. We normally get them from Pawnee Mental Health, Big Lakes. I believe Attabas sends one over. So you at the extension office will send one, so you'll see some of those as we go, but by approving this, by making that motion and approving it, then it will make the process easy when I bring you the forms.
Thanks, guys. Well, I make a motion that we approve the appropriations as listed in this document.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
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 I would like, when you advise them, their appropriation, to just add in there, that we worked very hard and that these cuts were, necessary and that, possibly that some of them will be cut even further next year.
Okay, I'll look at that wording and make sure you guys are good with how it's written up.
Okay.
So can you also go ahead and approve the budget certificate so that I can have you sign that? For
So,
those two seconds.
Then moved and seconded to approve the budget certificate, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
So then with that approval, are you good to go ahead and sign the court's budgets and we can get those documents to them? And just as a reminder, you're gonna see some handwritten notes on there because we amended from their original proposal. So, I did write beside them, I crossed out the lines that changed. I put my initials on it so that you could see them. I added that tech hardware for the 49,776. So their original proposal, when it was brought to you, was 567, 230, and 93 cents. And it changed to $614,006.93. Along with that, their revenue was estimated at 60,000, and we did change that to 80,000. And those were discussions that we had with the court on all of that, so. And I think the chairman is the only one that has to sign that.
You want them to look at the lines and
Yep, you certainly can, if you wanna look at it. It'll just be on this first section.
yeah. I make a motion to approve the court's budget
As amended.
as amended.
I'll second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I did check to make sure they didn't wanna redo it, and they said we could just make the written changes on there, so. And all three?
Yep.
Thank you. I don't think you have to mark on this piece of. I don't think so. You can check, but I don't think so. Okay, I think that's all I have for you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your hard work.
It's a long morning for you, but we made it through.
No. Been a long process, period.
And I agree, this is one of the harder ones we've had to do.
Well, they're all tough, but this one was especially tough.
Betsy, are we gonna do the jury fees resolution?
I thought we did it last week, didn't we?
That was your last one.
Yeah, we did it last week.
Last one?
What, did we
Well,
do
because I
actual
got it says
resolution?
9/8.
I mean,
I don't think we had the resolution.
I think you just approved going
Right.
ahead and doing it, and then she was gonna
Oh,
have you
okay.
sign the
Oh,
resolution,
that's what
We
it
need to
is.
sign it.
maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to change the date to dash.
2.
I've got a clean copy here.
Okay, so you have a copy.
Okay, any last instructions for me for next week?
Do you want me to- Should I put in today's
Some of the
date?
same information?
Yeah,
Same thing, yeah.
because that's when the resolution.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Is on the phone?
Guys not here for public comment on other stuff? Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
It's a slow Monday.
And if you have any questions after looking at those,
Yeah, this is one of these, there's a lot of numbers, a lot of,
I know it is very overwhelming.
it's not something you can just
And that's
look
why-
at and then speak on.
Exactly,
It's
and that's
something
why I
else.
wanted to point out, what I did point out, because that simplifies it a little bit, but
I
there
mean, I
is a
know
lot.
it's like kind of like an excess of paper, but like some of those ones, maybe have printouts for those, I don't know. It's like some of the stuff that you had on the screen that weren't on the printouts,
Yeah,
trying to keep up with it and like,
oh,
sitting here or, I don't know if we can fit another TV in here, but it's just a little bit harder.
it is, it's overwhelming, because there's so many
There's a
things.
lot of numbers and it's a lot of numbers.
And we do go over it.
I'm fried.
Yeah, I know, but we are too. But we did it over, months, like, Keith said, we start in April or May and then, go by each department, each appropriation. I mean,
we have everybody come in and present, and then when that's done,
When's that usually? Like the appropriation people come in and present or?
yeah. it-
When's that usually? Is that-
Well, it's
Throughout
usually in
the-
June and July. They don't do it all at one time. They have different, they'll come in and it's listed on there when they come in, on the agenda. When we have it, we have special days that we don't do them all on commission days. We've
Yeah,
done
that'd
different
probably be-
days. But we send out the agenda with them on there when they do come.
usually they're in the afternoons. And so it's not just appropriations, but it's department.
Yeah, it's everybody that gets money. They come in and present their.
Yeah, that's why I was like, why, there's nobody here from any of these, like, I mean, there's some from like I don't even, well,
We had all the department heads come in just in
Yeah.
case somebody had a question on specific
it's kind of like
things.
you're here for money, but you're not here. But
Yeah.
if they happen prior, then.
Yeah, and that's the whole the budget, on the finance page, we have a budget, calendar, and it shows when we're doing all those. And then, when they do schedule the appropriations, it'll be in the agenda on who's coming in and when.
This is one of these deals you guys sit down and look at them.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, Tammy would be more than happy to talk to you about them.
I could check the website, there's 32 pages from everything today.
I mean, we have a lot of budgets. I mean, yeah, I don't think people realize. And then inside of the public works, they have numerous budgets with, road and bridge, noxious weed, the
Solid
water
waste.
district, the sewer district, I mean, there's budgets inside of budgets.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question about the appropriation.
I'm sorry, what?
A question about the appropriations.
Uh-huh.
Is the food pantry getting nothing for next year? Is that,
They only asked for, the one-time thing, for them to build their, and that was the second appropriation we gave them. We actually gave them the first monies to buy the lot, and then they came back and asked for some more, and it was just a one-time request.
okay.
You're not the first person to ask that question. Yeah.
It's, I want to soak it in before. 'cause
Yeah, yeah.
It is crazy. All right, well, I guess I'll get back to work. All right, see you.
Bye. Thank you
Yeah,
for coming.
thanks for coming.
You said her name's Tammy. Would Tammy be the one to ask about the structure of the handouts?
Yeah, oh yeah. She'd be able to explain anything that you don't. I mean, it doesn't have to be today. If you go home and look at it and you have questions, just call her and she'll set up a time to meet with you.
Oh, yeah, I'm just wondering why, like, the appropriation she showed on there and then on this sheet are different. Like, there's more on the full handout versus on here on the budget.
Well, because there's a separate one with the appropriations that she should have handed out. Look on the back. Is it on the back of it?
No, it's just
It's
the,
not- Oh, she doesn't have this.
Yeah.
Oh, here, you can have this.
So basically, this actually shows the years and all the things, and then like, so this one was, they requested 20,000, we gave them 20,000, they requested 16, we lowered it to 15 this year, so that's how that reads. So,
thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So can I get a motion to approve 9/8/2025 the jury fees?
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, I have a, one change order. So next week at night, do I still do public comment at 6 or do I do budget discussion at 6?
I think we could do public comment for non-budget related stuff in case somebody has something
First,
else and then go,
And then how long do you want me to leave for budget discussion? I mean, we never know.
I know, I mean, last year, there was a lot of people in the evening.
I
Yeah.
would say 30
30
minutes.
minutes.
What else you got?
Jeremy will be here. I don't think the health department. I think that's about all. Crystal, I'm the last one, I haven't heard from her to see if she's got something.
So it'd be Jeremy.
I make a motion that we accept the change orders.
Well, second.
Then moved and seconded to accept the change order, all in favor, say aye.
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 Crystal Public Works and the health department, if he's gonna come, I don't know, I haven't talked to him yet. That's all I have on him.
So we'll do the public hearing right after public comment. Is that how we want to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6:30 or 6.
6:15. Okay, now I got minutes for the second. Keith, you had a question mark by the tax sale date, is that not right?
When did you say? the
Didn't you
tax
say
sale?
November 1st, Betsy?
Yes, November 1st.
Okay, then that's correct. You talked about the 24th, but the building wasn't open or something.
No.
The building was not able to be reserved.
Right, okay.
And Keith's got some grammatical errors in this, where Mr. Jarnot was talking.
Well, I didn't really want to read that part, but I.
Well, I'm gonna have to change that because that doesn't make any sense. And I remember when he said irrefutable and then he started going off, that didn't make any sense. So I'll change that to sound better. Or just take it out. Trish, when Mr. Jarnot was talking, she wanted me to add, he said he wants the county attorney disbarred. Evidently, I didn't put that in there right or something. And then when he was talking about, or Trish said he should go to the Attorney General and make a complaint. I had about the sheriff's office, she said to complain about JCPD violating the Open Records Act, so I will change that.
I did call them, ask them what was going on, and he's been offered to come look to watch that video.
Right.
Yeah. He just doesn't want to.
Kathy, did you have anything?
Well, then why make false accusations that they won't let him?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. How can you stand in front of everybody and says, well, I don't have any, I can't see that video if they said that he can? Okay, approval of the minutes.
Also moved. Second.
Then moved and seconded to approve the minutes from September 2nd. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
That's all I got. We don't have anything new on Dinger Road, Madam Council?
No, I didn't get everybody called last week, but I'll call this week and try to set them. People are, we're supposed to have a hearing and, I spent a lot of time on the phone, last week talking to people who wanted to talk about that hearing on the 11th. Lots of taxpayer contact last week.
Oh. Yeah, I sent you a couple.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know, when they said, well, who do I talk to about this? And I thought, oh, I hate to say this, but you need to talk to county council.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
Keep sending them.
Well, I don't see any public. So I guess we'll stand adjourned.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, Kathy, that I put that new cartridge in that printer